corporations should not have rights. Human beings have rights. Corporations don't have rights. If it's left up to me, it'll be against the law for the corporation to even advocate policy or politics.
Yeah.
It's an institution, it's not a human being.
And basically what has happened is the Wall Street banks pulled off the biggest criminal fraud in human history, and they not only remain unjailed, but everybody but the Wall Street banks is being made to pay for their fraud while they continue recording record profits. And they've become so blatant that basically almost everyone has become aware of what they're doing now, and everyone is tired of it, and we're standing up. And I find it interesting they only call it class warfare when we decide to fight back.
Occupation's not a crime, U.S. does it all the time. Hey, hey, ho, ho, corporate greed has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, corporate greed has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
We lost our house in a flood down south, and we called Bank of America to let them know that, you know, their house got destroyed in a flood, and wanted to know if they might want to help us in any way with the mortgage or renegotiate or do something, and all they said to us was so.
Hi, my name is Susan.
Hey, Susan.
And I closed my bank account with Bank of America in the mid-90s. But guess what happened? I was living in San Francisco, and right on the corner was a nice little savings and loan. I thought, that's a better place for my $2.98 or whatever I had in there. So I did that. Lo and behold, not long later, that little savings and loan got bought up by a bank. Great question. A couple years later, that bank got bought up by Washington Mutual. And then we know what happened to Washington Mutual. So I wound up with Chase. And then I had to close it and start all over again. So be vigilant.
We are here today, the students of SPSCC, the students of Evergreen, because they got an all-cuts budget that they're trying to pass, and one of the first things that they cut in the budget is education. A lot of the folks that came here with SPSCC was not a part of the decisions that created the Wall Street crash. They had nothing to do with it. They're innocent victims of the 1%. And so, as SPSCC students, we're just not going to take it, and we're going to start fighting for our rights. We're going to start being troublemakers. That's right. That's right. Troublemakers are the people who did the civil rights. They're the ones that got us out of Vietnam. They're the ones that shaped this country for events like this, so that we could fight for our rights also.
Who are we? We are the future. Who are we? We are the future. Who are we? We are the future. These thoughts to education are not only immoral, they are illegal. The state constitution reads, the paramount duty is the paramount duty to fund education. Last February, a King County court judge ruled that the state was breaking the Constitution.
The first thing to do is to educate a lot of people on why it's important that we change the food system. There's a ton of reasons to be freaked out about it, because we're talking about mass starvation, we're talking about climate change, changing our growing conditions, we're talking about losing all of our topsoil, we're talking about peak oil, we're talking about industrial agriculture and political control over our food system, where we've got people that are starving in our communities and also across the world when there's plenty of food to feed everybody. So what are we going to start doing now to fix all these things? Because we're all going to be affected when we can't grow food and we can't transport it. The food committee here is absolutely great. They show up and they have meals available for the people who live here and anybody who considers themselves part of Occupy Olympia. You don't have to be down at the camp to be a part of the movement. And they collect donations, they manage the inventory. They manage the the food tent and an eating area and a dishwashing station, and it's just an amazing group of people. But they're having a lot of trouble having enough volunteers to really sustain the kitchen. They're burning out a little bit from doing so much work, and they're needing more people from the camp and from the broader community to step up and help people get fed, because hungry people aren't very, they can't do very much if they're so focused on getting their own needs met, they can't do much beyond that. That's one of the ways that oppression works.
It's about trying to fight to create a different world that's a lot better than the way things are now. A world of culture, literature, dance and singing. Why have revolution if you can't sing and dance?
They make the laws to chain us well. The clergy dazzle us with heaven, or they damn us into hell. We will not worship the God they serve. The God of greed feeds the rich while poor folks starve. We work, we eat together.
This is the way it should be in a town. Now we have people talking and enjoying themselves, playing music, doing things. That's what life is real. And this crap of it, nobody in the park and cops hanging around, that ain't real. That's junk.
They sent the hired men and troopers to wipe out the diggers' claim, tear down their cottages, destroy their corn. They were dispersed, still the vision lingers on. You poor take courage, you rich take care. This earth was made a common treasury for everyone to share all things in common. All people one. They came in peace, the orders came to cut them down. In 1649, St. George's Hill.
This is actually really fun.
This is actually really fun.
And I'm glad that I'm here.
And I'm glad that I'm here.
With all of you.
With all of you.
Yeah, so on November 28th, Monday, November 28th, the legislature here in Washington goes into special session to talk about some of the horrendous budget cuts.
And I've seen some of the preliminary stuff for that, and it's really, really ugly. We're talking about more like, of course, what I focused mostly in on was how families are going to be affected and how specifically women and children, and seeing healthcare benefits get cut, seeing money getting cut from the school system, and money cut to social services, such as all support for domestic violence victims is like on the chopping block right now. It's really sad.
And so there's been a call to actually occupy the Capitol building on November 28th. And I know that there is a broad and diverse coalition of unions and nonprofit groups, as well as Occupy Olympia, doing some of the support here on the ground.
All the Occupy movements around Washington will come here, and I think it would definitely be a massive protest because there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot in Washington who are protesting, and more who are not even living at the occupation. Just the 99% themselves will come together.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah.
Got laid off. Teachers got laid off.
now, and before they meet for their 1-hour session, they've been lobbied by corporate lobbyists. They say that's what democracy is like. Corporations paying off favors. We should say, this is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Our state. Our state. Our state. Our state. Our state.
Don't let him in! Don't let him in! Don't let him in! Don't let him in! Hey, folks! Hi! Don't let him in!
Mic check!
Mic check!
I said we the people!
We the people!
Are the people!
Are the people!
And we are many!
And we are many!
Speaking as one!
Speaking as one!
All around the world!
All around the world!
We are evolving!
We are evolving!
Expect us at these doors again!
Expect us at these doors again!
We are the 99%!
We are the 99%!
And we're going stronger every day!
And we're growing stronger every day!